Everton 0, Manchester United 1, Stephen Howson, another win for Michael Carrick, back to winning ways as well. 5 out of 6 and 1 draw. Proper football and good form this, isn't it? You can't say this is anything other than a brilliant start to Michael Carrick's United career.
I can.
Why?
Joe, if you'd have asked me to poke my eyes out in the middle of that game today, I'd have done it. It'd have been way more fun than watching that game.
The results. That's what this is, a results business.
6 wins and a draw is brilliant, right? Very, very good, especially considering some of the places we've had to go and the things that we've done to get those results. However, let's not roll a turd in glitter, Joe. Okay. That was one of the worst games of football I have ever seen.
Right, well, talk to me about that then. What made it so poor? Were United poor? Was it just the situation? Was it Everton making it like that? What actually happened then?
Everton are going to make it difficult, right? And that's their right to do that. Like, I don't think there's any team that should just roll over and try and make it entertaining for the sake of it. But that also doesn't mean that I have to call it entertaining if it wasn't. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fun to watch. And I thought there was only twice that United actually tried to play the ball in behind quickly. The first one was when Cunha fell over. The second one was when Sesko scored. And you're just thinking, why have we not tried to do that more often this evening? It was sloppy with the passing. We probably missed Martinez a little bit for the control element, a little bit like that, and some of that line-breaking passing. Lammens had a great game. The corners pissed me off. You know, if I'd have had a toddler nearby me, I'd have kicked him just out of frustration. Like, the corners, they're ruining the game, Joe. They're absolutely ruining the game.
What's ruining the game about them? Because obviously it happened long before we started watching, but football felt like it used to be a bit more physical, a bit more set-piecey, a bit more direct. Why is it they think that the return of the corner in its current form is sort of ruining things rather than maybe a throwback to simpler times?
Because it used to be a physical challenge. It used to be me and you are going to run in a direction. If you can beat me to it, you score the header or I defend it. Now it just looks like some poor attempt at the NBA, some shit NFL tactics to fucking box somebody in, and it's the keeper. And for me, it's a foul. There's no two ways around it. It is either obstruction or it's a foul by the way that they're wrapping people up. When you look into the rules of what you're allowed to do at corners, they're fouls. And then you see, like, I mean, it pissed me off yesterday watching Arsenal Spurs, like the Gabriel one. Does that get given the other way around for a penalty?
Not in a million years, no.
There you go. So it's not a foul.
No, 100%.
There you go. Right. So I'm sick of seeing this. Like, Gary Neville try to justify it. He can fuck off all the way, by the way. Right. Gary Neville trying to justify it by saying he doesn't get the foul there. Yeah, do you know why? It's not a fucking foul, Gary. That's why he don't get a foul there, for starters. Like, it's not all right when forwards dive. It's not all right when defenders dive. Can we just play football? Like, this is what we're here to see. Like, we are losing the game. We are losing the magicians. We are losing the people that you want to go and pay to see. Like, if it's all about just the fucking results, buy Footy Manager and get involved. And just watch the fucking dots on the screen, right? Football's meant to be entertainment. Don't kill the entertainment with these bullshit rules. A couple of years ago, they started booking people at corners, remember? Just dished out a load of cards, and it changed it for a little bit. Can we not just do that again?
Yeah. I mean, do you know that the concept of putting your whole team around the ball in a circle and all putting your arms on each other's shoulders and just running the ball up the other end of the pitch and putting it in the back of the net? You're not allowed to do that because it's obstruction. Not a single person there has committed a foul or has blocked someone or pushed someone or punched someone, but you're obstructing the ball. I agree. They do the same thing with goalkeepers. You basically build a wall around the keeper so that when the ball comes in, you just basically hoping for a 50-50 bounce to go that way instead of that way. But it can still be obstruction.
He's going to have to foul you to break out of the bullshit that you've put around him.
Yeah, because if people look at it and go, where's the foul? But the foul is the fact that the keeper is being blocked and stopped from moving when the people blocking him aren't within playing distance of the ball. You can't shield the ball if you want near it. They're not even attempting
to play the ball.
Yeah, that is a foul. And I think that is, we were talking about this on the watch along, something that the refs are going to have to, at the end of the season, probably have a chat and say, how do we crack down on this? How do we stop this players backing into the goalkeeper like this and then another 3 around him yeah, they're going to have to do something about it. And hopefully they do.
And you know what? For every single person that goes, by the letter of the fucking law, look, mate, by the letter of the law, a 78-year-old can date a fucking 16-year-old. It don't make it right? So let's fucking leave it out, you little perverts. Let's play football properly, and let's return corners how they're meant to be played. The spirit of the game, not the fucking letter of the law, you dirty fucking nonsense.
Yeah, it's perverted corner work, it really is. On
There
Lammens, though,
there we go.
On Lammens, because he did have...
The fucking corners is what he's doing.
That might have... If
now then, as the ball came in, fuck off.
Then that sort of unbeeped it. On Lammens, I thought he had a fantastic game. And we were talking before, like, the types of games a goalkeeper can have. Sometimes they have 100 passes, sometimes they have 15 saves. And tonight it felt like Lammens was just clearing, punching, catching, just doing that third section of a goalkeeper's job, which is just defending his box. He was brilliant at that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he might be the only person on the pitch that you can point to and say he played well tonight, to be honest. There was clangers in everyone, wasn't it? It was just, do you know what? Sloppy was the word of tonight. Yeah. Everyone. There was times from every single player on there where they were just sloppy. Do you know what I actually appreciated late on in the game, after there'd been about 45 corners in a row for Everton, where Cunha basically allowed himself to be fouled and just bought us a little bit of pressure. So just, like, that's game intelligence. I'm here for that. And it's not shithousery, and it's not diving. It was game intelligence, and it needed a little bit of that. And it's actually leadership as well, because there's a lot of experienced players on there, and none of them were thinking to do the same sort of thing as that. We played dumb, I thought, at times tonight. Too many passes, trying to play through. Like, there was so many times where you're watching United and they've kind of all been funneled down the centre of the pitch where Everton got every single fucking player. No one's run into space wide that we can just move the ball into different areas and, like, try and break them down. There'd be, like, 4 players around Kobbie Mainoo in the centre of the pitch. Why are we passing at him? Like, early in the game, I'm thinking, fucking Everton's press is intense in here. Like, they're not giving us a second once the ball moves into midfield. And then you think, so why are we doing it? Like, why has no one on the pitch has gone, hey, fullbacks push up and give us an outlet? Like, no one's thinking of doing that. Like, what? It goes back to the same sort of thing I was saying before. Where's the fucking magicians? Where's the people who actually understand the game? You can have your team principles and your game model and all the rest of that sort of stuff, but you need fucking people who understand football on the pitch. That's what the likes of Roy Keane would have done. He understands game state. He understands how things are supposed to fucking work, and he's intelligent. But he never gets any credit for that whatsoever. And I think Cunha's got a little bit of a dabble of that, a little bit of, like, he understands what and when. It's not the first time we've seen him do something like this in a key moment in a game. Run it out, hold it, allow himself to be fouled. Take your time with that. Like, that's real leadership, that. And we're losing that because everyone's a fucking copy-paste academy fucking product and idiot.
And I think players expect to be told exactly what to do and don't need to know what to do without being told. So you almost become reliant on a system and reliant on a manager and reliant on instructions. And sometimes, like I said, just old-fashioned game management is something that they've not had to do. So why would they know it? That is, it's sort of coached out of them or never allowed to be sort of put into them. Just finally then, the West Ham performance wasn't great. Everton performance wasn't great, but it's a win, and it's,
I'm glad we waited 12 days for that, mate. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, it's a win, and that's the most important thing. Obviously, you want great performances as well, but we've had some of them in previous weeks. What are you looking at this season? Are you keeping a little eye on Man City? Are you saying 8 points isn't that many? Or are you just thinking, let's try and have a look at Villa, let's make sure we stay away from Chelsea?
I think we'll finish third. I think we'll get ahead of Villa. I don't think we'll quite catch City. And half of me thinks that's because I think City are in a title race and we're not. But actually, aren't we as close to them as they are from Arsenal?
I think, no, they're only a couple, aren't they? They're only a couple behind Arsenal now. Well, they certainly, as they were from Arsenal, they were 9, 10, 11 points behind Arsenal at one stage. I think we're 8 behind City and they're 2 behind Arsenal. Or maybe... Are they 5 with a game in hand?
No, Arsenal's win has changed that. They're 5 behind Arsenal. They do have a game in hand on them.
Yeah, that's it.
They do have a game in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're only...
8.
We are 8. Okay. That was a little bit giddier than I thought. Oh, it's been updated.
I like the optimism, though. Don't worry about being giddy. That's all good stuff.
We're 3 off Villa. That's the next target. Get over Villa.
Yeah.
I think we can finish third. And that'll do me. I mean, we came 15th last season. Fucking fourth would be sound.
Yeah.
Like, go back and play our Premier League previews. Didn't we all say, like, top 9 would be good?
Yeah. We certainly won't be sacking a manager
8,
who's on for top 6, top 5, top 4. But it worked out so far. Are you not worried for Carrick, but those performances that you did the last couple, not quite the same highs that we saw in the first few games, are you seeing cracks there, or is it just an inevitable kind of cycle of the season and of the team?
Maybe it's a reality of where we are as a team, but I also think you can't turn the same fucking homework in for every test. You know what I mean? Like, why was there no tactical change? We saw what we did against West Ham. You knew this was, or you should have known this was going to be almost identical to the West Ham game. The team that you picked against West Ham didn't really work. Can we not try something else? You've had 12 days with them. Like, could we not have had something else? That's a little bit of a worry for me, that we've just gone, hey, play that same tune. The one that we played against Arsenal, the one that we played against City, the one that we played it in all 6 games, essentially. The only changes we've had have been because someone's been injured. That's it. That is a worry to me. Does that cast doubts on him long term for me? Yeah, it does. Like, if we'd have seen, like, you're allowed to make a mistake, and we said this under Ruben Amorim as well. You're allowed to make a mistake. I expect there to be mistakes made from a manager. What I don't like, and I can't abide by, are repeating mistakes. Like, if the answer was not correct against West Ham, why have you put the same fucking formula out against Everton? Because it's the same test. Like, if it's a different test and you played a team that didn't quite work, that's another thing. But the same test with the same thing that didn't quite work, no, I'm not having that. I think that you have to be honest about this and say, yes, you got the result, but if it's not for your goalkeeper becoming man of the match, and basically, like, I don't even know how many corners they had. It felt like a dozen, right? Statistically, you should have conceded from one of those corners, I'm pretty sure. Don't you concede from like every 7th or 8th corner, something like that, statistically?
Like that. It was 10 they had, by the way.
Right, so we probably should have conceded from a corner, statistically. Now, the keeper's made some pretty decent saves. What was the XG, do you know?
Theirs was pretty low, actually. It was 0.62, ours was 1.27.
Okay, so that's probably a fair reflection of how the chances went in the end.
Yep.
It didn't feel like that.
No.
I can't remember any other major shots from us.
There was the Ahmad one that was cleared off the line, wasn't there? In the first half.
Yeah.
Not too many in terms of high quality, though.
Certainly didn't pepper him.
Oh, and Burma had that one that he put over from about 6 yards out of the near post.
Yeah, that was never... He never had that under control.
Yeah.
It was from close in, but that, difficult.
The keeper was on him, wasn't
he? Like, your goalkeeper's just got man of the match. You've just got very lucky on some very dangerous set plays. No, you can't tell me that you're happy with your manager's performance in that. You can be happy with the result, but you've got to be honest about the performance. It was boring. It wasn't correct. Tactically, it was weak. We got to be better than that.
Right. Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much for joining us at home. Get your thoughts in the comments. But obviously, it's another win, another 3 points for Man United and Michael Carrick. But do we need to start seeing just some tweaks, some game-suitable tweaks? We'll find out in weeks to come, of course.
Who's next? Palace?
Crystal Palace at the weekend, then Newcastle midweek away as well. That's been an absolute nasty bastard for the last few seasons, and at Newcastle away. So we'll find a lot out there. Right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a bit.